Hey, Curvies, thanks for coming through today. Let's give people a time to come on in. Let's see. What can I do? I hope that fan isn't too loud. Let's check that. Happy Friday! Happy Friday to ya. Happy Friday to ya. Oh, you guys could totally hear that fan. Glad I turned it off. Anyway, Curvies, I'm getting this together for us. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Thanks for coming through to LRGA Curves today. Make sure you smash that like button, smash the subscribe button. If you haven't already, ring the bell so you can get notified. Ring the bell so you can get notified. Okay? Okay? Let's see. Let's cancel that. Let's get this open. Thanks for coming through to LRGA Curves. Make sure you're smashing like buttons, smashing subscribe buttons, and ringing bells on your way in if you haven't already. Go ahead and smash the buttons. Let's see. Why is my computer tripping? Let's get this. Close this. Go here. Here. Now I know I owe my curvy some reality stuff also, but this morning I got up and I heard that Obama, yes, President Obama, was scolding black men for not supporting Kamala Harris. So we're going to get into that. Go ahead and smash my buttons on your way in. Ring the bell, share this video, and engage. Go ahead and do all that. Let's get me in the algorithm. Let's share. Let's go here. Okay, and then I'll go here. And I'm sharing this out. You guys can too. I think it's going to be a good talk, actually. Let's see. Let's bring a couple people. I'll send this to Brilliance. And then I'll share this to Lady Sukiki. Let's see. And then I'll share it to, where is Pinky? Yeah, thank you guys for your patience. I haven't been going live for a minute, so my algorithm is kind of sleepy, so I'm just sharing the video. Thanks for being here. Happy Friday to ya. Happy Friday to ya. Happy Friday. Yeah. I told you all how I got that last note from Sam Harris. You guys need to Google him. He was a legend in the 80s. Sam Harris, and he was on that show called Star Search. And Ed McMahon used to host Star Search, and at late night, Ed McMahon would be Johnny Carson's sidekick. Remember the show Johnny Carson, the late night show Johnny Carson that started late night shows, and then Jay Leno and all the rest of them came in, but Johnny Carson was one of the first, you guys. And so Ed McMahon hosted a show called Star Search, and it was kind of like, I guess, America's Got Talent, but 80s. And So there was this guy named Sam Harris, and he was this little white guy, and he would wear a tuxedo with long tails like a penguin, and he would have a bow tie, and his hair was curly, and it was in a mullet, and I was like, he's looking a little black, because his hair was so curly. And then, but he wore it in like a mullet where it was longer in the back, like a shag is what we call them. And he would sing "Somewhere Over the Rainbow" every show, and he won for like a year straight. Did you guys know that's where Roseanne Barr, the comedian, got her start also on Star Search, as well as Sinbad? A lot of people got famous from Star Search back in the day, and so did my long holding note, because Sam Harris could hold a note for like, it felt like 3 minutes. I was like, whoa. So I would always try, after he would perform, I would try to hold my notes long. And so shout out to Sam Harris. Anyway, you guys, we are not here for Sam Harris. We're here because President Obama scolds black men. Yeah. And so we're going to have to talk about it, because I'm like, dude. Now I liked when I stopped for President Obama. I called when he was running for president. I was very involved in his campaign, not as a paid person, as a volunteer in Oakland, California. And yeah, we would meet over at Everett and Jones Barbecue. Shout out to the Moors. And we would meet at Everett and Jones Barbecue, downtown Oakland on Broadway. And she set it up, and she would serve us barbecue. We would have food and lemonade, and we would be calling people from our cell phones, asking them, "Hi, Zara. Hi, Bianca," asking them to, be sure they get out and vote for Barack Obama. And I was all in. I was like, first black president. Oh my God, he's going to get us everything we need. Finally, black people are going to have a break in America. And then we got him elected, and nothing. Nothing, you guys. Nothing changed. Oh no, we can't hear me? Let me see. Let me see. I thought I could hear me earlier, but maybe something happened. Oh no, I can hear me. I just Yeah, sorry. I think it might just be yours. Yeah, no worries. So thanks Bianca. Thanks Sarah for checking. So what was I saying? So yeah, President Barack Obama got elected as the first black president in the United States of America. And I just knew everything was going to change. I was like, oh, black people are about to get treated right. He's going to do something to stop the police abuse. He's going to do something to stop the freaking, he was going to do something as far as the plight of black people in America and the 450 years of slavery followed by Jim Crow, bringing us back into the 2024 as updated chattel slavery with low paying ass jobs and not being able to get ahead and steal all of that stuff. I just knew he was going to do something, you guys. So imagine my shock and imagine my dismay. I was so disappointed when he didn't do shit. Not SHIT for black people. Nothing. And he kept saying, oh, I can't. Oh, I can't. The president only has so much power. Oh, I can't. Oh, I can't. And while he was president, he had the House and the Senate, I believe, at one point. So that means that he should have been able to pass heck of stuff, because all three branches were Democratic. And we still didn't get shit, you guys. And that was when I finally caught on that it's two cheeks of the same ass. Exactly, two cheeks of the same ass. And isn't it interesting that all the other presidents seem to have done what the fuck they wanted to do when they wanted to do it? Sign executive orders, veto, whatever else they want to do. They get shit done. They free up money. They reallocate funds. They start a department. They do some other shit. All of them. But then Obama got there, and all of a sudden he needed to follow every single rule, and nothing got done. But a lot of shit got done outside of the country in Africa against Black people in Africa. As I found out afterwards, he was bombing the fuck out of Africa while he was our Black president in America, not doing shit for Black Americans. So I'm like, are they for us? Are they against us? What party is for Black people? Now, President Lincoln, Abraham Lincoln, was a Republican. He tried to free the slaves. It was Democrats who put the chain, who wanted to undo that, based on my research. And then something happened where it seemed like Democrats were for Black people. So Black people started voting Black people started voting Democrat, but Black people were Republicans for a long time. And then they started going to the Democrats. And I was just super duper disappointed that he didn't do anything. So how dare him? Yeah, I said it, Obama. How dare you have been president for 8 years, not done shit for Black people, and then 4 years after, come scold Black men for not doing anything, for not wanting to support Kamala Harris. I say, I'm not sure who thinks, are we still owned, you guys? Are Black people owned? Are we owned? Is our vote just theirs? They don't have to earn shit. They don't have to do shit for us ever. They can lie to us, spit in our face, tell us to wait, tell us it's raining, do all kind of stuff they can do to Black people. And we just keep taking it over and 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 over again. And then finally, no wonder they wanted to stop the woke people, because finally they wake up and they start examining the relationship, the contractual relationship that they've been engaged in with the Democrats. And we hold up our end of the bargain as Black people collectively. We've been holding up our end of the bargain as Black voters, or else why would Biden thank us? Or else why would Obama thank us for record numbers coming out and voting for him? Record numbers of Blacks were the only reason 1994 crime bill Sleepy Joe Biden even got in office this time. And then as soon as he got there, he told us to wait. He told our Black leaders to wait while he took meetings with everybody else and signed off on an anti-Asian hate crime bill that was co-authored with Kamala Harris. And she presented it to the floor. Miss, I'm not doing anything for Black people specifically. But now we're the problem because we're woke to your fucking lies. Now we're the problem because we were talked out of our panties one too many times and left with all these kids and we don't have no way to support them. What? And now you have the audacity, first Black president Obama, to come back to Black men and chastise and scold grown Black men who have the right and the freedom to vote any way they want to, and not even talk about the reason why. I mean, basically start on October 7th, like it just started. Not like there's been a history of promising a whole community something and then reneging on your promise. Yeah, I threw a nig in there. And then reneging on your promise. 40 acres and a mule. You guys took the acres back. You guys took the mules back. A chicken in every pot. Nobody got chickens. Nobody got pots. The established pattern of the duopoly of Democrats and Republicans has proven through pattern power that we can't trust you. Period. We can't trust you. And we already know we can't trust her, Miss Kamala Harris. We already know we can't trust her because she will backwalk and moonwalk all over something she just supported yesterday and then say it's the same value even though she doesn't support it today. Does anybody else's head get filled with gas every time she's talking about how her values haven't changed, even though her position on everything has flipped to its polar opposite? But she's trying to convince people that it means her values are still the same. Really? I don't know. Where I grew up and how I was taught is that a value is an inherent core belief. And if you believe that fracking is bad, then how can you suddenly believe that allowing fracking, which you just said was bad, is okay? But it's the same value. Bitch. I'm not with this. I'm not with this. You guys are going to have to keep up. Listen really, 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 really well to what she's really, really, really saying. She expects her non-policy, non-platform, fear-mongering self to get through on lies, gaslight, laughs, collard greens in bathtubs, and now she pulled out the super soaker, President Barack Obama. So that was 16 minutes of intro. We're going to go ahead and get started over here. Let's share some else. Let me see. So what should we share first? Let's start with when it really started, about perhaps why some Black people, including Black men, aren't on board with Kamala Harris. Let's do that. Let's go up to Kamala Harris's own words and see what she has to say about what she do for Black people, right? And this is when she was running for president the first time in 2020, after she locked up an innocent man and kept him in jail for 7 years with falsified evidence. As the top cop allowed her cops to falsify evidence and try to keep a man in jail for life. He was in there for 6.5 years of his life. He got awarded $13.1 million from the San Francisco because of her, allowing the cops below her, because she always bragging about being the top cop. Okay, so allowing the cops below her to basically frame an innocent man. And then she locked up Black mothers because their children had sickle cell anemia and were unable to go to school, with doctor's notes, verified, proven doctor's notes, and locked up mothers. Spent all her money. They had to live in a hotel. They got evicted. Her daughter had a stroke. She was the primary caregiver. Made her life hell for years. And we've heard Kamala before brag about, with a swipe of my pen, I can affect your life forever. With a swipe of my pen, you'll have fees. You'll have to show up in court. You have to do this. Your family is affected. She knows exactly what the fuck her power is. And with the swipe of her pen, she had that Black lady locked up because her daughter was sick. And with the swipe of her pen, she had that Black man who was innocent locked up for 6.5 years and fought tooth and nail to keep him in jail, even though he was innocent, as a prosecutor. 6.5 years. So nobody's going to mention that might be why people don't support her lying ass, because it's a lie. It's not changing positions. To me, you just need to call it what it is. A lie is a lie. A lie is a lie. So let's see. So this is from a while ago. So let's listen to this first.
Do you support reparations for Black people? Well, listen. Again, we had over 200 years of slavery. We had Jim Crow for almost a century. We had legalized discrimination and segregation, and now we have segregation and discrimination still exists and is a barrier to progress. We have disparities around housing. We have disparities around education. We have disparities around income. And we have to recognize that everybody did not start out on an equal footing in this country. And in particular, Black people have not. And so we have got to recognize that and do something about that and give folks a lift up. That's why, for example, I'm proposing the Lift Act. Give people who are making $100,000 or less as a tax credit, which will benefit and uplift 60% of Black families who are in poverty.
Default families, but not a particular policy for African Americans that you explore.
But no, if you look at the reality of who will benefit from certain policies, when you take into account that they're not starting at the same place and they're not staying, it will directly benefit Black children, Black families, Black homeowners, because the disparities are so significant. So if we focus on the specific issues that have resulted in the greatest disparities, and we understand that that's part of why we're doing it. Listen, the reality also is this: any policy that will benefit Black people will benefit all of society. Let's be clear about that. Let's really be clear about that. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit Black people. No, because whatever benefits that Black family will benefit, and that's part of why we're doing it. Listen, the reality also is this: any policy that will benefit Black people will benefit all of society. Let's be clear about that. I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit Black people? No, because whatever benefits that Black, the reality also is this: any policy that will benefit Black people will benefit all of society. Let's be clear about that. Let's really be clear about that. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit Black people. No, because whatever benefits that Black family will benefit that community. Part of why we're doing it. Listen, the reality also is this: any policy that will benefit Black people will benefit all of society. Let's be clear about that. Let's really be clear about that. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit Black people. No, because whatever benefits that Black family will benefit that community and society as a whole and the country. Right?
So, do you guys think that could possibly be a reason why Black men might not want to vote for her? Why didn't President Obama explain that remark before he started scolding Black men for not wanting to vote for a woman who said this?
Understand that that's part of why we're doing it. The reality also is this: any policy that will benefit Black people will benefit all of society. Let's be clear about that. Let's really be clear about that. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit Black people. No, because whatever benefits that Black family will benefit that community and society as a whole and the country. Right?
So, that soundbite isn't going anywhere, even though, you guys, it's quite hard to find. The actual video of this talk is gone. I had to scour. I put in Kamala Harris remarks on not doing things for Black people specifically and didn't get anything hardly. I had to change the word combination so much. And then I finally got to images. I had to go into images. And in the images was the Griots article about that. And that's how I got to this landing page, to get to this soundbite so that I could replay it. I replayed it when she first got installed as the Democratic nominee. I played it quite a bit because I was like, how dare you come and pander to us after you told us last time you were running that you weren't doing nothing specifically for us, which is why you only ended up with about 1% of any vote, because you were relying on the Black people that you told you wasn't going to do shit for. Let's listen to her one more time, because I don't know why they're shocked. They're not very smart, are they? it's not really smart to wonder why and scold people when this is the remark. This is exactly why black men aren't for her, in addition to locking up black men. Let's see, Kamala.
Issues that have resulted in the greatest disparities. And we understand that that's part of why we're doing it. Listen, the reality also is this: any policy that will benefit black people will benefit all society. Let's be clear about that. Let's really be clear about that. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No, because whatever benefits that black family will benefit that community and society as a whole and the country. Right?
Okay, so that could be why. That's a pretty valid reason. But then let's look at this. I had this cue to go. What was this? So in addition to this statement, more recently, where is it? So early, because nobody feels like they know a chameleon. How can you know a chameleon really? I mean, if they're changing their colors all the time, blending in with whatever they need to blend in with at that moment, how do you really get to know a chameleon? I mean, I don't know. So let's say we do tuck away the comments about how she's not going to do anything for the black men that she's expecting a vote from. But then that was 2020. So you might say, oh, her values are the same. And she's just saying something different now, which is her MO. Her values are the same. Her values are the same. Oh my God, look how beautiful that is. Oh my gosh, Curvies, how pretty. I have one of those rainbow sprites right outside my window. Just a second. I'm live, cousin. I'll call you back. I love you. Peace. Look, I'm gonna take this picture and post it. Is it still there? Yeah. Oh no, it's going away. That is so pretty. Oh, I just caught the end of it. Did it translate? Yep, there it is. The one with the screen translated the most. That is so bizarre. It hasn't rained here, but there's some kind of freaking rainbow in my sky, but it hasn't rained in weeks here. Anyway, okay, that was a side note. No, a squirrel. So those remarks aside from what she said in 2020 when she was running for president and didn't win, called Joe Biden a racist, lied and said she was bused into schools, pretended that she grew up in Oakland when she was really mostly raised able to afford a house to buy. It was in Canada in a very prestigious neighborhood. And that's the house that she lived in when she was able to fulfill the dream of buying a home. It was in freaking Canada. But she conflates a lot of things. But she keeps that smile, that spooky smile and that laugh. She's very charismatic. But let's just leave those 2020 comments in 2020. She gave us stuff to work with in 2024. Where in Canada? Exactly. You know who knows? Candace Owens are all deep dives on Kamala Harris's origin. And that's in one of those, she does talk about Kamala Harris's mom buying that nice house for her and her two Indian daughters in Canada in a very nice neighborhood, and like just middle class. It was like middle upper class. And she's always trying to pretend like she was middle class. No, she wasn't. And also revealed in those videos from Candace Owens, she says allegedly that Kamala Harris's both her parents were registered communists. I was like, are they playing with us? Is that why they named her Kamala? Because you could really be saying Kamala Harris, communist, Kamala Harris. Were they playing with her name even? I don't know. But allegedly they were like card carrying members registered of the Communist Party when they were in Jamaica together before they decided to immigrate and become part of the civil rights movement in California and Oakland. So somebody suggested recently that that was done to infiltrate the civil rights movement. And that could explain why we haven't got much shit, because people be infiltrating and then you end up with nothing because you just, everything gets sabotaged constantly and we're always working in quicksand. Very interesting. Kamala Harris and her communist parents and the slave owners and the Irish settlers of Jamaica and the 1,200 slaves that they had, and how she took pictures with the help and claimed it was her grandma. Go check Candace Owens out, man. What I'm saying is allegedly based off of what Candace Owens presented with receipts. But go check it out for your guys' self. You know what I always say. Listen and then verify it for yourself. You listen to me all you want, but you guys go verify this for yourself. I'm doing my due diligence. You do your due diligence. Okay, I'm just sharing with you what I've been finding out. So yeah, so that's for if they decide to do something with this video. But so we don't even have to go back to 2020 to see why Kamala Harris have an issue within the Black community. No, we don't have to go back to 2020. We can go, today is Friday, we can go to Wednesday. Yeah, let's go to Wednesday. When Kamala Harris sat on The View for a whole hour and they pitched her softball questions and didn't hold her feet to the fire on, then somebody decided to ask her. Oh yeah, and then there's this, you guys. So people have been saying, "Oh, she's the vice president. She couldn't have been able to do anything because the vice president doesn't get to do a lot." And da 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 da. Well, she's been bragging this entire installation tour that she's been in every meeting, been in every room, decisions within this administration. So she's been the most active vice president, unbeknownst to us, because it doesn't feel great in America right now. I don't know who's thriving. I don't know who's thriving if you're not part of the 4%. There's a lot of struggling out here when your gas and your milk is the same price. It's a lot of struggling out here when the jobs are still paying you what they paid you in 1996, but now you have 2024 prices, inflation, and taxes. It's not nice when the current administration allowed the price gouging to happen within a pandemic emergency situation where price gouging is specifically illegal, and they allowed it. But now if we elect her, she's going to do something about it. But also, just listen to this. She's word salad, word salad. Eric Weinstein says Kamala saying unburdened by what has been is based on Communist Manifesto. No way. We're going to look that up right now. Unburdened by what has been meaning. Snopes is from Mark, because her parents, they're going to make this. Oh my God. Karl Marx did say that. You guys. Mamere. Thanks for being here, BT Dub. Aaron, thanks for being here. Mamere. Did you see that? Oh, look, do they know that I'm sharing it with you? Because did you see what just popped up? No, I don't want to sign up for a stupid new letter. Unburdened by what has been, Karl Marx. Move forward into a future, unburdened by what has been. Claim Kamala Harris' frequent saying, what can be unburdened by what has been, was borrowed from Karl Marx. They're saying it's unproven, but it's right under his mouth. Okay? So, ahead of the 2024 US presidential elections, numerous Republicans attempt to connect Democratic VP Kamala Harris to communism and Karl Marx, the German philosopher who authored the Communist Manifesto. In particular, Harris's detractors picked apart her phrase, "What can be unburdened by what has been," asserting it was borrowed by Karl Marx himself. A number of readers sent us the following meme purportedly quoting Karl Marx: "Move forward by what has been." Uh-huh. Another thread said something. So reference to the French saying "Les morts c'est-il le vivre," the dead seas of living, famously used by Marx in the introduction of the first volume of Capital. It means in the past hangs over the present. Harris's father, a Marxist economics professor, may have said this phrase in front of his daughter. She remembered it and perhaps unconsciously turned it on its head. The dead no longer sees the living. We are unburdened by the past, so unburdened by the what has been. We march towards Trump's landslide in November, possibly. Sorry for being bleak. Okay. In light of the dramatic news, let's see. Is this when she says it? Allie from Miami. Thanks for being here. I miss you. How's everything going?
What can be? I can imagine what can be and be unburdened by what has been. You know? What can be unburdened by what has been. 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 What we can see, what we believe can be unburdened by what has been. What 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 can be unburdened by what has been. Who we can be unburdened by who we have been. What can be unburdened by what has been. Where we can be unburdened by where we have been. Unburdened by where we are right now. What can be unburdened by what has been. What can be unburdened by what has been. What can be unburdened by what has been. What could be unburdened by what had been. What can be unburdened by what has 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 been. Unburdened by what has been, believing in what can be. What can be unburdened by what has been. 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 What could be unburdened by what had been. What can be unburdened by what has 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 been. What can be. What should be unburdened by what has been. What can be unburdened by what has been. What can be unburdened by what has been. See what can be unburdened by what has been. What can be unburdened by what has been. What can be unburdened by what has been. Unburdened by what has been and knowing what can be. Have a sense of vision about what can be unburdened by what has been. To see what can be unburdened by what has been. What can be unburdened by what has been? What can be unburdened by what has been? What could be unburdened by what had been? What can be unburdened by what has been? What can be unburdened by what has been? Where we can be unburdened by where we've been. What was possible unburdened by what has been? What can be 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 unburdened by what has been? That can be unburdened
4 minutes.
by what has been. There are those who are unable to see what can be, but there are many more who are able to see what can be unburdened by what has been.
You guys, that's very concerning, isn't it? Well, to me, it is. Because on top of this, now they're saying no evidence, but it's obviously, while Harris's father was indeed a Marxist economist, as we have reported before, there's no evidence that Harris herself subscribes to Marxist beliefs. We searched through a number of archives and found no evidence of Marx ever making similar statement about being unburdened to what has been. We also reached out to an expert on Marx and Marxism, Merriam-Webster Dictionary, collects in Marx, and blah, 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 move forward. Marx did, however, use the French phrase, the dead sees the living, but part of the capitalist production, what, if anything, does this have to do? What can be the claim that Harris's turned words, the dead sees the living on their head is speculative at best. Yeah, it sounds like a reach to me. So we just had 4 minutes of her saying that since, I guess one of those things was when she was the DA, when she was AG, she's always saying this line, right? Always saying this line. You think being a communist Marx believer might have something to do with why the Black people might not want to be voting for you? I don't know. But also, since we're talking about Marxism and communism, let me just show you. I was telling you guys, check out Candace Owens' episode. Let's see if I can guess there real quick, where she confirms that they were carrying members. My thing is sticky today. Come on, because I'm sharing my screen on YouTube. Come on. Finally. History. Just pulled up while we were listening to her 4 minutes of saying that freaking bizarre unline. That line is freaking stupid.
Everybody and senator, now she becomes black. But, I met her daddy. Fine gentleman. He's Caucasian. He doesn't have any black ancestors, but his Irish ancestors owned a lot of slaves in Jamaica and had them to work on plantation. So if mama is on the birth certificate listed as a Caucasian, daddy says he's a Caucasian Hindu and has no black ancestors, how did she get to be black?
I mean, the math is not mathing. How did she become black? It doesn't make sense. Okay? It only makes sense if you stole the identity of the help, which is so sick, so twisted, so diabolical, so offensive that we demand a response to this. Like I said, if a single black person is okay with this and votes for her because the media simply decided to her black to essentially wave a little Harry Potter wand and go, oh, okay, we just need you to be black because we need those black votes, right? And you're okay with that, you should really re-examine your life.
You should deeply spiritually search within yourself to determine what is wrong with you. And you allow this sleight of hand to allow to compel you to vote for this woman, despite her horrific record, by the way, of locking up Black men. Who is this woman? 2 parents that were committed communists. Who is this woman? And that's not all Judge Joe Brown had to say in the matter of Kamala Harris. Take a response to this. Like I said, if a single Black person is okay with this and votes for her because the media simply decided to make her Black, to essentially wave a little Harry Potter wand and go, oh, okay, we just need you to be Black because we need those Black votes, right? And you're okay with that, you should really re-examine your life. You should deeply spiritually search within yourself to determine what is wrong with you, that you would allow this sleight of hand to allow to compel you to vote for this woman, despite her horrific record, by the way, of locking up Black men. Who is this woman? 2 parents that were committed communists. Who is this woman? And that's not all.
So right here, you can see that's where I got was Candace. Can you still see it? Yeah, the screen just went crazy. They might be messing with your girl. Remember last time I was showing you guys stuff about Kamala Harris? They stopped my live like 3 times and I had to rejoin the thing 3 times. It was really weird. They be messing with me sometimes. I must be telling the truth. I don't know. So you see in episode 76 over on Candace Owens, I told you check out episode 70, which you can't anymore because YouTube removed it. And that's when she revealed that Kamala Harris's biography book had proven lies in it, where she was standing next to that dark Black woman and said, this is my grandmother, and it's the Blackest person that we've ever seen her stand next to, even Blacker than her daddy, and well, darker as far as melanin. And she claimed that was her grandmother, Miss Iris. And as it turned out, her grandmother died 4 years before she was born. So Candace revealed that that couldn't have possibly been the fact. After Candace revealed that that Kamala Harris's autobiography, The Truths We Tell, was chock full of lies, do you know they edited the version and removed the pictures that Kamala had of her, that she had posed as her grandmother? They edited the book since Candace Owens aired episode 70, you guys, and removed the pictures that Candace Owens proved were inaccurately describing that Black looking woman as Kamala's grandmother. They removed that and some other pictures after Candace Owens did this deep dive. And Candace Owens only dug because people were mad at Janet Jackson for saying, oh, I didn't know she was Black. I thought she was Indian. And everybody was dragging the icon who's proven Black. We know she Black. We see mama, her daddy, their house and where it was, and their pet rat bin. Okay? They didn't need to wash collard greens in bathtubs or nothing. We seen them with our own motherfucking eyes that they were Black. No splaining needed to happen. So when people went against Janet Jackson for Kamala Harris, it was like a bee in the bonnet of Candace Owens. And so she went on a deep dive rabbit hole dig into who is this woman? And with her parents were committed communists. Committed communists. And that's why I'm like, is that why her name is Kamala? Get it? Or were they playing in our face? Committed communists, Marxist economics leaning believers name their one daughter Kamala, who turns out to be a prosecutor, and she's not going to do anything for Black people specifically, signing off on anti-Asian hate crime bills, pandering to Black people like we owe her a vote. After everything we know that she's done, backslid on, said to us, about us, and all this word salad that she says all the time. So it got Candace Owens pretty stirred. So she had to go on a dive. And that's how we found out that Kamala Harris's parents were card-carrying members of the Communist Party. But people are on Jill Stein's ass because she had a peace lunch trying to broker peace with Putin and somebody else, and they're trying to make her a Russian sympathizer. What about being a communist sympathizer? I mean, if your parents were actual communists, that seems a lot more effective on a personality and a belief system than Jill Stein, who had a dinner to broker peace. Remember, Angela Rye was like, were you at the dinner with Putin? Well, Kamala has been at a dinner with Putin. No, check it. Kamala's been to Rusky. Yeah. They're not trying to imply that she's a Russian sympathizer. And nobody's talking about her ties to communism or Marxism, or why her daddy don't talk to her. He lives like 3 miles from her, allegedly, and they don't talk. But why? Even her father was found out to be a liar when he co-signed on who that lady could have been in the picture. Let's listen a little more, and then we're finally going to get to Obama scolding black men.
All Judge Joe Brown had to say in the matter of Kamala Harris. Take a listen.
Hey,
And the
Couture.
birth certificate that she has is interesting because the confusion comes from a mistake. On the birth certificate, it lists the mother's race as Caucasian, national origin into India, and religion Hindu. For the father, it does not list national origin. It does not list religion. It does not list anything about that, but where it says race, they put national origin in Jamaica by mistake. Now, if you've ever been to Jamaica and you go over to St. Elizabeth Parish, you see all the high, bright, and white. They live in Jamaica. So I've got a good friend retired from law enforcement. He has a white wife, blonde hair, blue eyes, but she was born in Jamaica. Her parents were born in Jamaica. One's blonde and blue-eyed, the other one's red-haired and gray-eyed. And they happen to be related to the King of England because they are aristocrats in England, but they were born in Jamaica. It's not unusual. You're not black just because you're from Jamaica, and then you have a whole lot of white people that never left, and their ancestors owned a lot of slaves.
And I can always bring it back to a Housewives franchise. Most everything I can bring back to a reality situation. So, to Judge Joe Brown's point about what your race is and what your nationality are being different, did you guys know that on Real Housewives of Miami, Lisa Hochstein, the one who was going through it with Lenny, she's Jamaican. She not black. Her mama not black, but she was born in Jamaica with her not black mother. And you don't see her running around talking about, I'm black, I'm black, I'm black. Nope, sure don't. Because it doesn't make you black to be born in Jamaica. There are Korean Jamaicans, there are black Jamaicans, there are white Jamaicans, there's, you know what I'm saying? Jamaica doesn't make you black. Africa doesn't make you black. Elon Musk was born in Africa. You going to tell me he's a black man? Are you? Or is blackness part of melanin content or what? Are we changing some rules around? Because you can change the definitions of stuff. Just ask the Anti-Defamation League. You can have a working definition of stuff. So why are we being forced to accept her as black because it says Jamaican on her father's thing? And I still wonder why she doesn't just shut everybody the fuck up and ask her daddy to come and say what he is in front of everybody. Or something like that. My dad would have been proud to be like, oh yeah, my daughter's blackety black, black, blackety black. We were born in Oakland. Does that make us black? No. Being black made me black. I was born in the Philippines. Does that make me Filipino? No, I'd still be black. I was born in Australia. Does that make me Australian? Well, in a way, but I'd still be black. You guys, I'm Jamaican and a ton of family that are white and Asian. Hello. That's why the motto Jamaica is out of many are one. Yes, we are one. Exactly. And back to a housewife franchise. We had our girl Lisa Milan in Dubai have the first season. She had a party, a Jamaica party, and she didn't care when one of her co-stars came in a big afro, because out of many, we are one. She's like, I don't want to hear nobody say nothing about my friends coming like this. I'm not taking that. Out of many, we are one. But when you polarize it and use it to try to garner support, and it's based off of fallacies, then that's when you're going to get yourself in this little kerfuffle, Miss Harris. Let's keep around, tear her up. I love it. I'm telling you guys, I'm from Oakland, California. I was in California, Oakland Bay Area in 2004 while she was the DA. I was living, reading, listening, had friends in San Francisco that were directly affected by her top cop persona. Thank God I've never been caught up. Thank God, we're knocking on wood. Don't ever want to be. But I personally know people who were caught up in her web of lies and deceit. And there's nobody in the YouTube streets or anywhere else that's going to make me be quiet and eat up these lies from this woman who directly affected the community in which I fucking lived. Did you live in Oakland in 2004? No, so shut the fuck up. Tell me, oh, well, you can research and see her numbers. Those are lies. Bitch, I was here. There was a lot of reporting on her, on the way she treated the brown community. There was a lot of reporting on it in real time. The numbers that they have available for people to look at in current time, those numbers, they point you to a certain year. Go back to 2004 when it started. Don't go to 2011, 2008. No, go to where it started, when she was locking up 1,900 people on little offenses. And with a swipe of my pen, we already played the audio and the video from how she braggadociously would tell people that she realized the power she had. And with the swipe of her pen, you'll have to show up in court. You'll have to pay fines. You'll have time off your job. You'll get into jail. And I could choose in 2 weeks to just drop the charges. Bragging about it. But I got other people that look like me arguing with me, telling me that what I know is a fact is a motherfucking lie, and it's not. She did indeed lock up thousands and thousands of brown people. Check the years. Keep talking about the one that she had to pay $13.1 million to because she incessantly, vigorously went after and tried to keep him in jail as he was framed by her as the top cop with her other cops. He won $13.1 million because he was framed. She was the top cop on the case. But you guys want to tell me some bullshit. Oh, anything just not to have Trump. Fuck Trump too. I'm not with this duopoly. The Republicans and the Democrats can have it. Not my vote, though. I'm third time's a charm this year for my voting cycle. I'm voting third party. They are not talking me out of my panties. This is a 666 moment as far as I'm concerned, and I am not taking the mark of the beast by co-signing on genocide. Nope. And that's what both these parties are doing. They have no issue with what's happening over there across the world, using our tax dollars, using my reparations to go blow up shit. by Africa, which is their ultimate goal. They want Africa too. But they're currently occupying a space that is not even theirs to occupy. Because whenever somebody has to have a meeting in Britain and then decide to take people that need fucking sunscreen and drop them in the middle of a place where nobody needed fucking sunscreen and tell them that that's their home, their generational ancestral home. Well, I beg to differ, because why do you fucking need sunscreen to exist here if this is your fucking home? I'm a little stirred, you guys. Let me see these comments. Hi, Emmanuel. I miss you. Love you. So glad you could pop in. Dina, Africa has all the resources, and that's what they really want. Did you guys see that there was a very polarizing remark? I might play it for us later. It might be in another video. But he was like, yeah, they want Jordan, Syria, Lebanon, Iraq, and Egypt. And once they get a foot in Egypt, that's why they were trying to expel the Palestinians to Egypt and pressure Egypt to open their borders and allow them over there. Because did you notice that wherever they tell the people from Palestine to go, they end up going over there too with some pow pows and some boom booms, talking about we need to eradicate them there. But you just sent them there, and then you need to eradicate them there too. And you just sent them there, but now you need to eradicate them there too. You just sent them to that tent. And now you need to eradicate that tent. And you sent them over there. And now you need to eradicate them over there. But you sent them over there. And it's just so you can have a reason to go over there and get what you really want, which is the resources from a place that's not your ancestral land, as far as I'm concerned, in my opinion. Because I didn't see it in any books I read. You just telling me that it's in your book. But all these books were written by a man. So I'm telling you that this is my personal 666 moment, and I will not be taking the mark of the fucking beast by participating in the duopoly any further, because all they want to do is send my reparations that should be for Americans in America off over other places to blow up other people's kids. That's bullshit. I will not be taking the mark of the beast. I will not be co-signing or complicit in blowing up other people's kids, or co-signing on using my son's body to go over there and fight for your bullshit. How about we fight for Americans to be out from other motherfucking freeways? How about we fight for Americans to be able to afford some bullshit in this country easily? Like maybe a gallon of gas or a loaf of bread. A loaf of bread is $5.99. A gallon of gas is $5.99, and a gallon of milk are all motherfucking $5.99. And that all happened while she was in every room for every meeting in the last 4 years. And let's listen to what she would change in a second, but I want to listen to Joe a little more. Let's wait a little. I feel like this conversation is a little heavy for some of you. But it is. This is a heavy time.
Hey, the Maroons went up into the hill country and got themselves free back in the 1840s, but, you know, other than that, it is what it is in Jamaica. So just because you're from that country does not mean you are of the black race. So the problem is why don't you go get your daddy to give you an affidavit that you have a black ancestor? And since the only possible claim you have is through your great-grandmother, who he says was a Hindu house servant, that just happens to be swarthy, where'd you get your blackness from? See, you're faking it again.
Hindu house servant is what they're alleging that Iris was. And I am telling you, the fact that I just picked up on that in a vibe in a picture, do not tell me women do not have good gut instincts. I was just like, there's just something about the photo. It just wasn't loving. It felt very much like the help who got close with the kids but didn't want to be too close to the kids because, you know, you never know when the mom's going to get upset because you're too close to the kids, kind of a kid situation. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? A lot of this stuff is just common sense. It's just not that common anymore. People are just like, I cannot believe my own eyes. I need to read the media. And CNN says that she's Jamaican. And then people were just confused. Like, they were literally asking the question, she was in Jamaica. How can you say that she's not black? How can you even ask me this question? Like, where is your common sense? If I up and move to Sweden, I get to suddenly say I'm white? What's wrong with you guys? If this is like common sense, of course, there are white people in Jamaica. There are white people everywhere. There are white people in Africa. Does not make them black. Elon Musk is not a strong black man. As much as I would love for him to be able to say he's a strong black man, to really upset the left, that's just not the circumstance. There's no version of reality that we exist in. And so this is fascinating. This is fascinating because this shows you a tremendous character flaw that we are stumbling upon. A person that will steal an identity, like I said, a true communist trade. This is what they did. They were the best at it. They always took on different names. They took on different identities. They would style themselves differently. You have to remember that there was this influx of people also that were coming in from Russia. So many of the ills that we have in society today is because we received so many immigrants and there was no correct process of filtration to determine which one of these psychos, amongst these people, how many of these people were the absolute psychos that were mass murdering Christians, okay? Mass murdering Christians leading up and after World War II and throwing us into gulags versus people that were actually escaping for freedom. There was no method. There was no method. There was just an open season of people moving around the world.
So
later, we were able to confirm him as a student at the Titchfield Secondary School. So that would be like an equivalent to a high school here. This is an article that we found from June of 1955, and you can see highlighted, that Donald Harris is listed under boys under 19. So in 1955, he would have been 17 years old. And you can see that he's listed under a Festival of Arts concert, big event. And then we found another article from 1960, and I think this could be Donald Harris because we haven't been able to find any other Donald Harrises in Jamaica around this time, but he's again in a play. I couldn't read it too close. It looks like it's called Terminus there. On the left-hand side, he's playing one of the attendants in the play that has this scene that's at the portal of death. It says that they are performing the last rites and that the play was written by a 20-year-old named Dennis Scott. So what are we to conclude from all of this? The reason why I'm bringing up the fact that he may be in the arts is because this was a focus for a lot of communists, like being able to sell yourself. It is something that I have brought up on this show many times. If you begin to look into the history of a lot of these world leaders who look to me like D-list actors, who behave like D-list actors, don't even get me started on Zelensky, constantly wearing military fatigues because he's trying to sell to us that he just needs more and more money. He's really down in the trenches while we hear rumors that his wife is on shop sprees in Paris. Don't get me started on the fact that it is true that Zelensky was an actor, a well-known actor. He played the role, okay? President Zelensky played the role of a president.
So that's getting a little
TV show before he actually became the president of Ukraine. Are we joking? Are we joking? I have to ask that question. Yes, he was in the arts. There's photos of him dressed up in latex and dancing, and it's all very...
Let's see what's happening. Okay, so this is Candace Owens, episode 76, copyright, fair use. I don't own this property, but we're sharing it for research purposes. Let's see, is it going to play again? Or is it going to spin? Because I must be telling the truth because the shit's going all wonky over here. This is what happened last time, you guys. This is what happened last time. They might be removing the video as we speak.
Russia, spying on the Trump campaign. Russia's around the corner.
Look, I closed that.
Why is talking
I closed that tab,
Russia.
and it's still talking, you guys.
Gosh, it's so ironic. Like, we are Ukraine and Russia.
I was totally off that tab and it was still talking, you guys. Did you see that? That tab was X'd out and it was still saying Russia. Okay. So not a thing comes to mind. People might not want to vote for Kamala Harris. But like I was saying, we can just go to what she said on Wednesday this week while she was over at The View, where as a vice president, out of her own mouth, she is responsible for the state of the United States of America, or it might be the United States of Israel. I'm not sure why they keep pledging allegiance to over there. I'm not sure. But yeah. So let's listen to this. Because we've had this talk before. Is everything great right now for you here in the United States as an American citizen? Or would you have liked to see many, many changes over the last 4 years? I feel like the answer is yes. We would have liked to see it go a whole different way. But for her to be running and saying, oh, I'm going to stop the price gouging when I'm president, but it happened while you were vice president and making decisions to tax tips, to freaking do all this other stuff that now you're backpedaling on because your values are the same, word salad lady. Let's listen to you add some Italian dressing to this. Or is this no, let's call this Thousand Island because it's a mix of bullshit. Let's listen. Secret sauce. To what would she have changed in the last 4 years? Come on, press the button. It's not letting me press the button. Did you see that? What the F? Okay, let's go back. It's frozen. No freaking way. Not a thing comes to mind. Oh my God.
If anything, would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past?
That is bizarre. Did you guys see that? Not a thing. Here it is. Let's go there. See if it'll play this time. Thanks for your patience, you guys. Smash the like button. You can support the channel any way you like to. My Cash App is LRGA Curves. You guys can do a super chat, become a member, anything. You know, I do accept the love and the support. It does cost a little something to keep the channel going. Not a thing comes to mind, Harris said just earlier this week. So we went through how she's not going to do anything specifically for Black people. We went through her unburdened remarks that are tied to communism. We went through Candace Owens showing us that her parents were registered communists and her name is Kamala. And yeah, so now we're going to listen to what she would have changed. What? So things aren't great, and that's why you want to run for president, and that's why you still don't have a platform that doesn't involve trying to fearmonger 2025, Project 2025, which, by the way, is already happening, you guys. They've already been putting the bones in place for 2025 for 30 fucking years. You guys are behind. Don't let her fearmonger you with that shit. It's already happening. Either you're complicit in war or you're complicit in war. That's what the freaking voting line should be for a moral conscience this time. Because if we let this happen over there, then when it's our turn, we can't really say shit because we let it happen over there. Okay? But let's listen. It turned blue this time. I think we'll get it.
If anything, would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years? There is not a thing that comes to mind in terms of, and I've been a part of most of the decisions that have had impact. If anything, would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years? There is not a thing that comes to mind in terms of, and I've been a part of most of the decisions that have had impact.
I agree with you, Emmanuel. This election cycle has opened my eyes to see how hateful the blue really are. I mean, I thought I was like, oh, they're going to be the balance to the evil Republicans, the Tea Party crazy loonies, but this is a whole lot of insanity in a whole other way. And they wanted to blame the Green Party. Now they're blaming black men. It's always the same memo. You look around and look for a person of color. Green is a color, black is a color, and you blame them. White supremacy much? So she wouldn't change anything and has admitted that during the last 4 years, while your gas was going to $5.99, while your milk was going to $5.99, and while your bread was going to $5.99, which all have never been the same price before in history, she helped make those decisions and helped make it the way it is. And how she would fix it is,
if anything, would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind in terms of, and I've been a part of most of the decisions that have had.
yeah, because I feel like that might be a reason not to vote for her. Whether you're black, white, Hispanic, Mexican, an immigrant from Venezuela, from China, from Mumbai. Because things aren't great right now in America, Kaka. Giving $750, up to $750 to Americans suffering because their house is floating down to South Carolina from North Carolina. But you earmark $1.2 billion for other places that aren't America while you pledge allegiance to them. That's the only thing you say for sure every time, is that everything over there is happening for a reason and they have a right to do whatever the fuck they're doing. But in America, we have to work together, and we have to, we're all going to have to compromise, and we're going to, you know what I mean? Like, unburdened by what has been. Because what has been is some bullshit under the current administration. What has been is Sleepy Joe and Kamala making all these decisions to make things that should never be the same price, but nothing's going to get fixed unless you vote for her again. Because it's going to be 4 more years of the same thing, because she just told us. I'm going to let her keep speaking for herself, y'all. Nothing's wrong.
Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind in terms of, and I've been a part of most of the decisions that have had impact.
And on top of it, she loves that Dick Cheney endorsed her. Oh my God, she loves that she's going to have Republicans. It's a duopoly, you guys. They work together. 2 cheeks, same ass. America's a stripper. Clapping her Democrats and Republicans in a club for all the money they can get from AIPAC. Making it rain. AIPAC is making it rain because both the candidates for the duopoly have received a lot of money from AIPAC, and therefore everything that's happening over there is happening and deserves to happen. Yep. And they'll send more of American taxpayers' dollars. I was talking to my mom. I'm baffled, you guys. Does anybody do American history? Can somebody tell me why Americans are not able to benefit from their tax dollars in our country? Why do they make it sound like having to go to your government and get a recoup and re-up on your tax dollars is somehow a welfare or handout? But you paid that into a system, and they've convinced Americans that when you're down on your luck and need it back, that you're asking for a handout. Bitch, you were holding that for me until I needed it. I'm not asking for a handout. I'm asking for what's mine. We're supposed to be in this together. This is our country, right? So I give you some taxes, and you're supposed to hold on to them till I need it when I fall on hard times. That's not a handout. That's quid pro quo. You scratch my back, I scratch yours. Right? So why aren't we calling Israel a welfare child, a welfare queen? Why aren't we calling Ukraine a welfare queen? Why? Why is welfare queen a term that's reserved for Americans who paid their money to their government and then when they fall on hard times need it back? Why is that the term that you get called, a welfare queen? Really? Well, I say not. I think those other countries that come begging us for our dollars, telling us how they're going to go blow up other countries, that's the welfare queen. If your balls are big enough to come to the country that's funding you and tell you that they better or else, it sounds like you might need to reflect on that relationship. You get it? Because things aren't great. And they're not going to get any better if she's elected because...
If anything, would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind in terms of, and I've been a part of most of the decisions that have had impact.
So I think somebody's not paying attention to the current state of affairs in America. If she wouldn't change any fucking thing and has been a part of the things that have been a major impact on my household, on your household, on your grandparents' household, on your auntie's household, on your teacher's household, on your firefighters who she likes to talk about so much household. But she's going to make it better, but she wouldn't change anything. But she's going to have an opportunity economy where everyone can have an opportunity, but she doesn't have details on how to get there. So it's a concept. She's doing a lot of what 45 is doing these days. All talk, no grit. Well, what are the details of your opportunity economy? Well, those are still being developed. Bitch. Not only did you have 4 years to replan how to approach the American people and garner and earn a vote from us, the only thing you came up with was tell them I'm black and they better vote for me. Again, that's what Joe said. He already told us that. Been there, done that. Copycat. Can't fool me twice. I'm still black. So, you guys, it's been an hour and 22 minutes. All for us to get to Barack Obama. Yep, President Barack Obama took his time from his life to go and stomp, is what they call it, for Kamala Harris, the daughter of certified card-carrying communists in Jamaica. Yep, he went and stomped for her. Yep. And before he went out on the stage, he decided to tell people that look like him about their self after he didn't do nothing for us either. Okay? And things aren't good right now. And she just said that she wouldn't change anything. So how you coming to us, black men, black women, like we're the motherfucking problem because our checks aren't clearing? No, our checks are not clearing, sir. You're the only one getting paid by AIPAC, I guess. So let's listen to Obama chastise and scold the black community. Okay? Particularly black men. This is man to man, mano a mano. And he thinks that this is okay to do. Listen.
Part of it, well, you just aren't feeling the idea of having a woman as president. And you're coming up with other alternatives and other reasons for that. So now you're thinking about sitting out or even supporting somebody who has a history of denigrating you because you think that's a sign of strength, because that's what being a man is, putting women down. That's not acceptable.
CNN political commentator Errol Lewis is in our fifth season.
Okay, let me try to play that again. Commercial. Ooh, mama triggered a heat flash. I must be speaking the truth. How does video skip? What the F? All this stuff is so glitchy today.
CNN political commentator Errol Lewis is specifically for Black men.
Part of it makes me think that, well, you just aren't feeling the idea of having a woman as president. And you're coming up with other alternatives and other reasons for that. So now you're thinking about sitting out or even supporting somebody who has a history of denigrating you.
Did you hear him? Now look, Obama, you got a lot of freaking nerve, black man, coming to other black men who you two did not help, used for their vote, got power for 8 years, first black president of the United States of America. You didn't do shit for us, and now you're trying to pander for this lady who already told us she's not gonna do shit for us. But where's the fucking problem? It's not acceptable. What's not fucking acceptable, President Obama, is you trying to gaslight black men who are finally awake enough and want them to go back to sleep and accept some more white supremacy values that won't benefit them or their families. Everybody else gets to vote in their interest but black people because they believe they still own us. We're indebted to them because we're not in regular slavery anymore? No, I say not. We are not indebted to the Republicans. We are not indebted to the Democrats. Neither party has done shit for black people, except for, okay, the police whooping our ass and killing us, unaliving us constantly. No help. No laws, no excessive force laws getting passed, none of that. Nope, just vote for us and shut up and eat your did you guys realize cereal's is past like $5 now too? In Safeway, you can get a box of cereal for $10. That's more than fucking gas. And you're coming to us telling us that we need to vote for some more bullshit? Bitch. You got me twisted. My panties are in an official bunch. And it's uncomfortable to say the least. I'm about to go commando in this bitch because trying to have my ass cheeks stitched together between the duopoly. I told you about the diaper rash we're facing. And this is what happens when your diaper rash runs amok. You get the black man coming to other black men, chastising them for being infected with white supremacy. I hope you guys are following me. I hope this isn't too much for my curvies. A lot of you already know me. I hope this isn't too much, but I'm just saying what I'm saying because this is what I'm feeling. It's not O-fucking-K. Check on the kids. Are the kids okay? No. Check on the blacks. Are the blacks okay? No. Check on the Palestinians. Are the Palestinians okay? No. Check on my motherfucking reparations. Where's my check? Is that okay? No. Check on minimum wage. Should it be higher than $20 an hour right now? Yes, but it's not. Is that okay? No. So anywhere you can go to have a check or a balance, shit's out of whack. But you come to this room, black voters, look at the signs behind it, black voters, in a room full of black people, and tell us this shit. I want to hear it again. Because I'm like, really, bro? Let's listen one more time because this is ridiculous fucking list. I can't even believe he's gonna smirch his legacy because he could still get away with the almost good legacy, even though he didn't do shit. But I mean, just the legacy of being the first black president, that looks good in a notebook, in a history book, in an encyclopedia.
Part of it makes me think that, well,
warned that Harris is underperforming him, voters, and he had a message specifically for black men.
part of it makes me think that, well, you just aren't feeling the idea of having a woman as president. And you're coming up with other alternatives and other reasons for them. So now you're thinking about sitting down or even supporting somebody who has a history of denigrating you because you think that's.
But isn't that Kamala's history of denigrating black men also when you locked up 1,900 of them and then they had to get sued for 13.1 million from one who you kept in jail for 10 years? I mean, for 6.5 years as the top cop while you guys planted evidence and falsified records to keep him in fucking jail. You don't call that denigration? Her telling black people, I'm not doing nothing specifically for you. That's not denigration. Get out of here with the fucking gas.
A sign of strength because that's what being a man is. Putting women down. That's not acceptable.
CNN political commentator Errol Lewis is in our fifth seat for this conversation. Errol, I guess he knew the cameras were there.
So now we are gonna listen because I wanted to hear Nina Turner on this panel kind of say what I'm saying. I saw a little clip and she was, I mean, we are sharing a brain cell right now because she and I have the same ideal about this. Again, this is fair use. I do not own this. We're doing research, commenting, okay?
That it was going to swing more toward the long-term average of a handful of black voters.
Can I interrupt you for just a moment, just to show you something here? Because we went back, looked at 2020 exit polls. Biden got 92% of the black vote. Right now, according to Quinnipiac, this is in Pennsylvania, according to Quinnipiac, Harris is at 78. It's a big gap in this state right now. And that can be closed because Biden is not Barack Obama.
Biden is not on, well, he was Obama's running mate. Certainly some spillover there. But you cannot ask of every black candidate in the post-Obama era, you've got to come up with 92% of the black vote every time. That is just not a reasonable assumption. If the margins are as tight as they're likely to be in this race, that's going to cause you problems in Pittsburgh and in Philadelphia and in Detroit and in Milwaukee and in Atlanta and in all of the swing states. And so they're going to have to come up with a strategy. Now, Barack Obama is trying one strategy, trying to sort of connect with some of the black male voters who they think have been drifting away and are likely to drift away in these last 26 days. I'm not sure that's the right message.
I mean,
they have to try something.
It's a lot of pressure. I mean, this is not a nice message. This is a very stern message.
Let me ask Abby and Nina, let me say, I find it very interesting that we're trying to reach out to white men, we're trying to reach out to black men. The people whose rights are really on the ballot right now are women. And we're begging all these men to pay attention to us and to care enough about this election, to vote, to come out, to support us. I feel like Barack going on campaign trail right now makes perfect sense, of course, right? He's a top surrogate for Democrats. He should be out there doing the work right now. I think it's so amazing to me that with women's rights on the line, we're spending so much time focusing on making sure men care.
Because men, I don't know, it's because men are the problem right now for Kamala Harris. I mean, women. And by the way, Governor Walz, according to Politico, is going to be going out on a men tour, literally a tour of media to appeal to men.
They need to appeal to the needs of the voters. And so when I was a delegate for President Obama in both of his elections in Ohio, right now the vice president is down 11 points in Ohio, even though I fully expect President Trump to take Ohio as he did twice. but to be down 11 points compared to President Biden, that is a problem. But this other issue I want to bring up is a problem too. Why are black men being lectured to? Why are black men being belittled in ways that no other voting group? Now, a lot of love for former President Obama, but for him to single out black men is wrong. And some of the black men that I have talked to have their reasons why they want to vote a different way. And even if some of us may not like that, we have to respect it. So unless President Barack Obama is going to go out and lecture every other group of men from other identity groups, my message for Democrats is don't bring it here to black men who, by and large, don't vote much differently from black women. And why? As a politician, we should be trying to get all voters to vote. And hopefully there are a few good men out there who do care about the stripping away of some of women's bodily autonomy. But this is wrong for President Obama. It is a wrong course for the Harris-Walz campaign to lay at the feet of black men when they have their reasons. In 2020, the vice president was labeled a cop, as we know.
Do you think, sorry to interrupt you, Nina, but do you think he's right that one of the reasons is because they don't like the idea of...
It might be some... Listen, black men are socialized in the same society as any other man. So yes, is misogyny maybe a part of it? But again, is President Obama and is the Harris-Walz campaign going to lecture other male groups in the same way that they're lecturing?
This is not just about...
I don't think so.
It's not just about Pennsylvania. It's not just about men. It sounds like there's a concern that there's a broad problem for Vice President Harris with the blue wall. It's basically, according to the poll of polls, no clear leader, a tied race essentially in all three of these battleground states. I don't know that this is because Trump has run a great campaign, but I mean, against Kamala Harris in this early stage, but he's still kept this race pretty tight and maybe has made some inroads in the last couple of weeks.
Absolutely, yes. Vice President Harris's high watermark was about a week and a half after the convention. It's slowly been trickling down. That Quinnipiac poll showing the vice president down in Michigan and Wisconsin sent alarm bells throughout every Democrat office in the country. But
and he had a message specifically for black men.
Part of it makes me think, well, you just aren't feeling the idea of having a woman as president. And you're coming up with other alternatives and other reasons for them. And so now you're thinking about sitting out or even supporting somebody who has a history of denigrating you.
Hi, Mademoiselle.
Because that's what being a man is. Putting women down. That's not acceptable.
CNN political commentator Errol Lewis is in our fifth.
To care enough about this election to vote, to come out, to support us. I feel like Barack going on the campaign trail right now makes perfect sense, of course, right? He's a top surrogate for Democrats. He should be out there doing the work right now. I think it's so amazing to me that with women's rights on the line, we're spending so much time focusing on making sure men care.
Because men, I don't know, it's because men are the problem right now for
I mean, women.
And by the way, Governor Walz, according to Politico, is going to be going out on a men tour. Literally a tour of media to appeal to men.
They need to appeal to the needs of the voters. And so when I was a delegate for President Obama in both of his elections in Ohio, right now the vice president is down 11 points in Ohio, even though I fully expect President Trump to take Ohio as he did twice. But to be down 11 points compared to President Biden, that is a problem. But this other issue I want to bring up is a problem too. Why are black men being lectured to? Why are black men being belittled in ways that no other voting group? Now, a lot of love for former President Obama, but for him to single out black men is wrong. And some of the black men that I have talked to have their reasons why they want to vote a different way. And even if some of us may not like that, we have to respect it. So unless President Barack Obama is going to go out and lecture every other group of men from other identity groups, my message for Democrats is don't bring it here to black men who, by and large, don't vote much differently from black women. And why? as a politician, we should be trying to get all voters to vote. And hopefully there are a few good men out there who do care about the stripping away of some of women's bodily autonomy. But this is wrong for President Obama. It is a wrong course for the Harris-Walz campaign to lay at the feet of Black men when they have their reasons. In 2020, the vice president was labeled a cop, as we know.
But do you think, sorry to interrupt you, Nina, but do you think he's right that one of the reasons is because they don't like the idea of
it might be some listen, Black men are socialized in the same society as any other man. So yes, his misogyny may be a part of it, but again, is President Obama and is the Harris-Walz campaign going to lecture other male groups in the same way that they're lecturing?
This is not just about,
I don't think so.
It's not just about Pennsylvania. It's not just about men. It sounds like there's a concern that there's a broad problem for Vice President Harris with the blue wall. It's basically, according to the poll of polls, no clear leader, a tied race, a set.
Okay, you guys. So thanks for being here, everybody. Mademoiselle just got in the house. I appreciate you, girl. So you heard Obama. We went over a lot of things. Also, we could get to the point that Nina just made. Why are you coming to Black people with this bullshit? Why are you coming over here talking about we better gonna do something? You didn't do nothing for us. You are not the right messenger. You're not the right messenger, President Obama, to go to Black men and tell them something they need to do in a political system that's based off of white supremacy and keeping them down and murdering them while their hands are up. Wrong messenger and wrong message. And like Nina said, you need to take it to all the other races and nationalities with that same rigmarole. Because I bet there's in other men groups, they're saying they're not trying to vote for her either. They don't see her as strong. They don't see her as intelligent. They don't see her as worthy of being in the office. A lot of men, not just Black men. So for him to assuage this all to Black men is like crazy. But he also knows that our race is the saving race for these elections all the time. Our race, Black race. That's the only reason Joe beat Biden. That's the only reason Joe beat Trump. He thanked us for a historic turnout to keep 45 out. And now they're trying to use us again to keep 45 out again. While we get nothing. We get talked out of our panties every election cycle. Never do they give us what they promise us. But all it takes is 6 weeks of harm towards the Asian community after 45 called it the Wuhan virus. And then they started allegedly getting some backlash because everybody thought they brought the vid around. And within 6 weeks, after several hundred cases were reported in the Asian community, they got an anti-Asian hate crime bill within the first 100 days of the Biden-Harris administration. After 6 weeks of being persecuted for 45 calling it the Wuhan virus. Black people have had 450 years plus in America. Slavery, Jim Crow, chattel slavery, locking us up for no reason, just so you can fill your private prisons that have state contracts, that they better have a certain number of people inside said private prison, or else they get to charge the state. Therefore, the state allows the popo to go out and just gather us all up and throw us away for nothing, for longer terms, so they can fill their private prisons. Meanwhile, back on the ranch, a lot of non-Black people who are criminals are walking around happy, free, go lucky. Not a fucking thing has happened for Black people. Not a thing. We must be pretty fucking important. Like Mademoiselle said, people are still trying to control Black people. We must be really important for everybody around the world to be concerned with what the motherfucking Blacks are doing in America. Allie from Miami says Obama was in office when 12 Black members were unalive. Yep. And Obama never did an executive order or nothing. Nothing. But you better vote for him because he's Black. And now because he's back in Black, you better vote for the lady who claims she's Black with 2 registered communist parents who named her first part of her name is Com. And they should have let people keep calling her Kamala because that sounds less like a communist than Kamala. But you guys are all the ones that are on the, well, you better pronounce her name right. Kamala, communist parents name one of their firstborn daughter Kamala. Nobody gets it? You guys, they're playing in our fucking face. And it all, again, is going to get blamed on Black people and green people for not towing the line of white supremacy, for letting our oppressors identify our rights, for letting our oppressors tell us when we're fucking Black and not, and who is and who isn't Black. But not doing anything for Black, but they sure do tell you how to identify. And based off of that identification, who you need to vote for. Project Power on Netflix. No, I need to look at that. They put it right now. Oh my God, Bianca. Look, you guys, we're going to have to check this out. It's a pinned comment. Everybody watch Project Power. I'm writing that down. Project Power. I will have to check that out after the Menendez brothers. Poor boys were horribly molested by their father and abused by their mother. It was kind of self-defense. I don't believe with parricide, and I don't agree with putting toothbrushes in your child's butt either. So, or giving them massages on their private parts. No, I don't agree with that. Oh, wow. Did you hear that more Black people died under Biden than Trump? No, I didn't hear that, but I could imagine. He doesn't care. He's 1994 crime bill Joe Biden, you guys. Of course that happened. That makes perfect sense with the crime bill that he labeled us super predators, but you guys want to keep on bringing up what Trump did to the Central Park 5, which I also bring that up. But he wasn't in a position of power to pass a law in order to do that. All he could do was take a freaking ad out in the New York Times, full page ads to try to sway the vote. He didn't enact law like Sleepy Joe. He didn't enact law like Kamala Top Cop Harris, whose parents were communists. Nope. I don't know if I believe the Menendez brothers. I remember seeing the Lifetime movie, the first one. Yeah, I lived through the first trial. We used to have a thing called Court TV, and I thought I had just never heard of anything so evil happening to children before. I didn't know that parents would do that to their kids. So of course I thought that shit was made up. But when I really think about it, that could have been the only way for it to stop. I mean, it was still going on into their teenage years. And that's what Eric said. He said he's doing it again, and he didn't want it to happen anymore. I don't know. We believe women victims that say this happens. Why don't we believe these minors? They were minor children. You can't even survive without your parents, but they unalived them. There had to have been a reason. I don't think it was just they were greedy, spoiled kids. I do not. I think that they were traumatized. And if anything, I don't know. I also don't agree with putting children away for life. Like if you did something when you were a minor, you were a minor. Period. I don't believe in trying you like an adult. Not a lot. Um, I feel like if anything, they, especially after all of the doctors in the Menendez case came forward with what was said in their sessions, I think they might have should have went to psych wards, to a psychiatric ward or something, but not full on prison for life. That's horrible. Their parents are in prison for life too because now they're dead. But the putting these minors in jail for their whole life is fucked up when there was all that evidence. Nobody protected those children. That was fucked up. Have y'all seen Project Power? Nope, but we need to. We need your voice for our movement, right? And you can have it. You can have it. My birthday is January 17th. Martin Luther King's birthday is January 16th. I feel like I could very well pick up the mantle and help our people get to the other side, but I'm also scared of eating bullets. But I'll do my little part over here on YouTube, y'all. They showed them the spoiled brats who wanted their freedom and got sick of their strict. Oh, see, yeah, nope, that's not in the actual court TV, which is still available on YouTube. You guys can pull up the original things that they said their parents did. You can pull up the original things from their family members not being allowed to go down the hallway because their dad would have to get his rocks off at any time. And even if there was like 8 other family members in the house, he would pick one of his sons to go take to the room. And then you would start hearing things come from the room and their mom wouldn't let you go down the hallway. That's nasty. And that, of course, I mean, also let it be told, their dad, the Menendez dude, he was a powerful Hollywood attorney, and the rumor allegedly is also that he was allowing them to be used for that too. So yeah. Anyway, I heard they are reviewing the case because there are more, yes, evidence of the abuse. Exactly. I heard that too. Right? I kind of feel like they shouldn't be tried as adults. Wow, awesome. Okay. So, Mademoiselle H, she was part of the abuse. Sadly, so many women will allow, yes, she allowed her husband to do that because she wanted that lifestyle. And she was very abusive too. She would lock him in the closet, Lyle, in the closet for days with no food after she like beat him. Yep. Yep. She tried to unalive herself several times too. That shows me how tormented she was at allowing that to happen, but it still doesn't excuse it, you know? So you guys, on this whole thing, don't get caught up in the white supremacy of it all. Be sure that you're voting your moral compass. Be sure that you're voting for your best interest. Yeah, we're all in it together, but they don't seem to care about us. So I would say that you need to be looking out for yourself because nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's coming to save you. If you're in the left cheek of the Democrat, nobody's coming to save you. If you're in the right cheek of the Republicans, nobody's coming to save you. If you're on the stripper pole of a motherfucking America, nobody's coming to save you. You need to vote in your best interest. If that means withholding your vote so they get the message that nobody had a platform that was for you, if that means voting third party because you realize the duopoly is not for you, if that means voting for one of the ass cheeks because you believe in supporting genocide, hey, go ahead, do it. Or if you think things are great and that's why you're voting for it, go ahead and do it if that's what your moral compass says. If you think 45's calling everybody names and saying the stuff that he says, which is becoming on Sleepy Joe level, the way he rambles on and on, at least his mouth opens. I swear, the reason they haven't had Biden come out is because he's sounding like a mumble rapper. Can't understand shit he says. Yep. All I'm saying though is, you guys, Curvies, please, 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 don't take the mark of the beast. I would sure hope that I'm surrounded by like minds who don't want to see everybody else's kids blown up for no other reason than to be able to do something to people. I sure hope that the people I'm attracting to my channel are loving, compassionate, real life kind, not fake pandering kind, not fake pandering compassion. You know what I mean? I really hope that I'm talking to somebody who might investigate a third party. I really hope that I'm talking to somebody who might investigate whether or not remaining within the butt cheeks of the duopoly is for them. Don't get caught up in all this pandering and gaslighting and stuff. Get a clear head. Go ground out. Hug a tree. Put your feet on some fucking grass. Ground out. Talk to your real self, to your soul self, and see, do you feel like being complicit for another 4 years of what's happening right now? Or another 4 years of what happened the 4 years before we got Obama? The only way out of the duopoly is to examine options outside of the duopoly. I was on Marianne Williamson. She bowed out. And now I'm on Jill Stein. And Ware, if you dare. Vote Jill Stein and Butch Ware, if you dare, to go a third party and just see. It's only 4 years out of your life. What could go wrong? Well, what exactly went wrong this time? I mean, when your gas, your bread, and your milk are all the same price, and you got to pick one because you got a family. Okay? Are things really good right now? Examine it. Identity politics is cute, but she has proven with her actions that she doesn't really identify with Black people, because she locks us up for no reason, makes you stay in jail longer to fight wildfires for free, but put your body on the line. And the only person that she's definitely pledged allegiance to since she got installed as our nominee for the Democrats is Israel. That's the only thing she's sure on. Positive. That's the only thing she doesn't start with the response. Well, I grew up next to firefighters. When my mom brought me to this, that's the only question she doesn't preface with a personal story. She immediately goes into their right to do this and their right to do that, and she's going to back them no matter what with my reparations money. Jill Stein is questionable after I saw her. Okay, mademoiselle, that's what I'm talking about. Kamala's parents were communists. She was raised with communist ethics and freaking ideologies. Raised. Jill Stein had dinner in a room that Putin was in and sat at a table with Putin and somebody else. She was not raised by Putin. She was not raised in Russia. She did not have those as instilled core belief ideologies as her young self. Kamala Harris's parents were communists, Marxists, who infiltrated allegedly the civil rights movement in America during the 60s. I feel like that's a lot more to worry about than Jill Stein having dinner in Russia to warrant peace with Putin. We need to do more research. All of them are no good. But at least Jill Stein hasn't had a history, bona fide, clarified history of locking up innocent Black men and brown men, of locking up innocent Black women whose child had sickle cell anemia, of falsifying police reports, trying to keep the people in jail. Only one person has done that in this race. And the other person has taken out a full-page ad to keep innocent Black people in jail. Jill Stein did not do that. Jill Stein has only ever tried to get peace with Putin over there. That's what she was there at that dinner to do. And your friend Kamala Harris, she's talked to Putin too. What about that tie? She's talked to Putin too. And then I don't know. I would have to look at that. I would have to research that, mademoiselle. She was asked if Putin committed war crimes, and couldn't answer it. Well, Kamala doesn't think that the ICC and the ICJ calling Israel apartheid state and war crimes, telling them that they're committing a fucking genocide, and then she don't have nothing to say about that shit. So I don't think Kamala is anybody either. And I think that weighs more than anything about an answer that Jill Stein may or may not have been able to answer. I would need to see the full soundbite. Because in real time, the ICC and the ICJ have said that it's apartheid, genocide, war crime going on over there in Palestine. The UN just recognized Palestine as its own place. Or somebody did, recognized them. So when Kamala is asked if it's genocide or not, why isn't anybody saying that's a problem? We see the pictures. We see the images. We know the numbers over 40,000 when they kept lying to us. It's been a whole year, people, but still only 40,000 unalives have happened. Fucking Gaza is gone. The strip is gone. The strip has been stripped, you guys. I'm not sure where there's going to be room for a two-state existence when you obliterated everything. Where are you going to put them? Yeah. So all of that, I'm willing to take my chances. I already know for a fact what Kamala Harris will do for Black people and for America. That's what we're getting right now. I already know for a fact what 45 will do for America and for Black people. We know it from when he was in office and from the rhetoric that he's spouting right now. I have no fucking idea what Jill Stein will do with her time in the White House, and I'm willing to take a chance on a new lover. I'm leaving these old, lying, narcissistic, gaslighting lovers in the gutter where they belong. You're never getting in my panties again, Harris. You're never getting in my panties again, Trump. Never again. Nope. I'm in a new relationship, and it's with Stein Ware, if you dare. Anybody else have enough balls to throw their morals to the wall and see if they stick? I'm doing it this time. I am freeing myself of the duopoly. I'm reclaiming my mind. I'm reclaiming my sovereignty. I'm not beholden to anybody but LRGA Curves and what I think is going to happen for me and my family with the next 4-year relationship. I'm not getting in bed with a narcissist who says she wouldn't do shit different, but everything's wrong, but she's going to change some stuff, but she wouldn't do anything different, but she has a platform of what she would do differently. She's a liar. Gaslighting, narcissistic, lying manipulator, playing identity politics and fear-mongering, trying to get a vote when she's not cackling and tossing word salad. I am voting for Jill Stein and Butch Ware if I dare. Kamala is a bold-faced liar, high-time manipulator. And you can tell when she's trying to lie, her voice gets a little higher and a little more crackier. Oh no, here comes Sluggo. Classic SNL skit, you guys. Mr. Bill and Sluggo. You guys remember that? Anyway, That's all I really had to rant on today. It's 2 hours and 5 minutes in. I'm gonna let you guys go have the rest of your happy Friday to ya. Happy Friday to ya. Happy Friday. All right. Remember what I always say over here at LRGA Curves. There's enough to go around, so go get some. Don't let these lame manipulators let you believe that there's no way out but what between them. There is a way out. And that means getting from between these butt cheeks. You keep voting for what you're voting for, you're going to keep getting what you're getting. I'm willing to go outside into the sun, ground out, and hug a tree with the Green Party. Yep, I sure am. You guys should do some research. I love all you guys, no matter what you vote for still. But look, if my sons end up having to go someplace and fight for a war that has none of their business in it, okay, I might think differently about stuff. But there's still enough time. We have 20-something days left for morals to kick in and for gas to clear from the gaslighting and see what you really believe in. I've told you before, I feel like this is my mark of the beast time, and I will not be complicit in genocide. Both the people on the screen right now see nothing wrong with what's happening in Palestine. Nothing to see here, folks. I do not agree with war. I do not agree with shut up and eat your bullets mentality. Okay? Not my pony, not my race. How about we deal with the shit that's going on in America? Get my fellow Americans out from under freeways. Housing is a natural right. Reparations is a right. Freaking healthcare is a right. An economy that has a higher minimum wage. Getting out from under this electoral college is a right. You really want your vote to count? Vote for Jill Stein because she's going to abolish the electoral college. Then these motherfuckers will really have to earn a vote. They'll really have to keep a promise next time. Yeah. Let's undo it from the inside with Jill Stein and Butch Ware, if you dare. Anyway, you guys, go out, make it a great day. I'll see you in the next video. There's enough to go around. Smash the buttons, leave a comment.